Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Siddhanatha Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Welcome to this session on reading of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, text 36 onwards. Today, we will try to read and complete this portion so that we can have further discussion classes further in this next week or tomorrow. So we are just going to concentrate on reading all the slokas. They are all relevant to each other. That Arjuna is speaking various reasons that why he should not fight. And at the same time in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that how certain aspect of his thinking is not proper. Arjuna is in confusion. So certain aspects are not proper. This is what Prabhupada is explaining in the purports. Okay. So we'll do a quick reading, continue and finish this chapter. That is the aim now today. No discussion, no class. We are just going to go through it and read reading completion. And after that, we will see how we are going to go ahead with discussion and other. We have very interesting things to do. Hare Krishna. Okay. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, text 36. Please repeat. Papam eva shrayed asman. Atvaitana tatayina. Tasmanarha vayam hantum. Dhatarashtan sabandhavan. Swajanam hi katam hatva. Sukina shyama madhava. Translation and purport has to be very carefully listened to when anybody is reading. Translation. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of goddess of fortune? How could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Read the purport.
According to Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors: a poison giver, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for a Kshatriya. Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Rama, Ramarajya. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife, Sita. But Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons, unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider this special type of aggressor, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not, therefore, consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent. So, why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjuna's addressing of Krishna as Madhava or the husband of the goddess of fortune is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that, as the husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you're on mute in case you're speaking to.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Oh, thank you, Disha. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we are going to quickly move to the next loka, but here I'm just want to point out very small things. Uh, Here Arjuna is telling sin will overcome us if we slay aggressors. Prabhupada is giving a list of aggressors who, by slaying them, no sin will overcome. The Veda says that, Vedic scripture says that certain type of aggressors, if they are killed, and that killing will not incur sin. And especially when they are Kshatriyas, they have the full right to kill such aggressors. And the list of aggressors are given here by Srila Prabhupada. Such aggressors are killed, no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. This is the point. And in the name of saintliness, there shouldn't be cowardliness. So that is the point here. That the showing mercy unnecessarily, the so-called, it's a weakness of the heart, and it's a duplicitous compassion. That is like that. So here, uh, Lord Ramachandra never he killed Ravana, because Ravana kidnaps Rama's wife. Then he has to be killed, means killed. That's all. So no cowardliness in that place. If the Shastra says that it has to be killed, killed. That's it. So, and Rama is very saintly, and everybody wanted to be in his kingdom. So, a king's kingdom where no fear, and people will even fear to create such aggressive activities. That is a real king. Is powerful, is truthful, is saintly. Saintly doesn't mean that he is cowardly. Okay, whatever, one weak character. So in Arjuna's case, one should consider that everybody is immediate relatives. You see, then because of them, Arjuna thought severe steps against ordinary aggressor he will take, but the ordinary aggressors should be special consideration to relatives. But that a saintly person are advised to forgive. Oh, very mercy, compassion, forgiveness, foolishness. This is not this is foolishness. So that is what, and Krishna is addressed as Madhava here. Specifically, he's telling that, point out to Krishna that he brings fortune, but this is misfortune. Krishna, please don't bring misfortune. But Krishna, this is very, very important point to note in this verse. Krishna, however, never bring misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotee. So wherever there is Krishna, there is no misfortune. Whatever is happening is fortunate only. Materially speaking, it may look like, for example, in this case, thousands of people are killed. It may look, materially speaking, misfortune, but actually it's a great fortune. So for ordinary people itself, he will not bring misfortune. Then what to speak of devotees? Because goddesses of fortune is Madhava. Madhava means the husband of goddesses of fortune. So fortune is always there. Next. We'll go to the next. 37 and 38 together. Repeat. यद्यपि एतेन पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसा कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम् कथं न ज्ञेयम् अस्माभिः पापात् अस्मान् निवर्तितुम् कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन. Translation of Janardana. Although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Read the purport.
A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight.
Okay. So again, there is nothing much. We'll have a discussion later also in detail. So a Kshatriya, here see this, a battle or a gamble, when they are called for, a Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse. So this is the reason very clearly mentioned here. So under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight, but he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind. They may be foolish. They may be calling us to do wrong things. Why should we do? Seeing the consequences are very bad. I won't even accept the challenge. It's okay. As a Kshatriya, that is not my duty. I won't do it. That's my duty to accept war if they are called for. So the effect is bad means I won't accept. The effect is good, maybe I'll accept. Like that. On that ground, Arjuna is telling that I will not fight. So there is a rule. When a Kshatriya is invited for a gambling match or a battle, he should not refuse. So earlier they had one experience that based on this rule, Sakuni and Party and this Duryodhanas, they called, come and gamble. And they know the consequence was very, very bad. So now he knows that now they come for battle. Come, let us fight. So again, why should we enter into it? And we'll just go away. Oh, no, that is the rule of Kshatriya. Why should I follow? The effect is very bad. I can foresee the consequences are very dangerous. Why should I do it at all? I'll not do. Let me go. It's okay if I don't follow the law of Kshatriya. I'll just go. But if the effect is good, maybe I can be part of it. But the effect is bad, so I should be part of it. Like that. Okay, next. Bhagavad Gita 1.39. कुलक्षय प्रणश्यन्ति
कुलक्षया प्रणश्यन्ति
कुलधर्मा सनातन
कुलधर्मा सनातना
दर्भे नष्टे कुलं कृष्णम्
Darbe nashte kulam Krishna
अधर्मो अधर्मो विभक्तुत
धर्मो
Adarmatyuta.
अभिभज्यते उत
Translation: with the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Read it.
In the system of Varnashram institutions, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying process in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family member may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain.
Okay, so here he's bringing another point, saying that, okay, earlier he said the effects are very bad, so why should I involve in it? Huh? Now he is telling that the kula destruction of dynasty, when the elder members die, the elder members keep the family in place. They tell the rules and regulations. This is the culture. This is everything. They guide. And if the elder member die, the younger members they just bad habits, irreligious habits they'll develop, and there's no chance of any spiritual salvation. The elder members will gradually take them into some spirituality and things like that. So this will get destroyed if the elder members die. So it's very dangerous for the elder members to die. This is another point he's putting forth. And 1.40. Adharma Bibhavat Krishna
Adharma Vibhava Krishna
Pradushyanti Kulastriya
प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्य
Trisu Dushtasha Varshneya
दुष्टोषाः
Jayate Varna Shankara.
शङ्करः
Translation: when irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family becomes polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Prishni, comes unwanted progeny. Read the purport.
Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashrama religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. Children are very prone to be misled. Women are similarly very prone to to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled in adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their cha- chastity and devotion will give birth to good population eligible for practicing in Varnashrama system. On the failure of such Varnashrama dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Okay. So similarly, he is bringing another point. Uh, Elder members should never be slain. The spiritual values will be lost. That is what the previous. And he continues, then the irreligion will be prominent, he's telling. The last word of the previous sloka will become the first word of this sloka. So it is a continuous speech that we can understand, even though it's like sloka, sloka, sloka. It is nothing but the continuous speech of Arjuna. Very quickly he is speaking. When irreligion is prominent in the family, then women of the family will get polluted. If the men are dead, let us assume, not assuming, really all the men in the all the kings in the war are going to die, all the soldiers are going to die. Then what will happen to the women and the children? And the women will look for some shelter, and the women will go hither and thither. So the degradation of womanhood, unwanted population will get generated. So good population in human society is the basic principle for peace and prosperity in the and also spiritual progress. And now unwanted population will come. Good population is good. Now bad people will be there in the society. So according to Varnashrama, that is the system. So those days, that was all Varnashrama. Now see that the complete Varnashrama is gone. Anyway, in Mahabharata, many people died. But Parikshit Maharaj was keeping the entire country proper, because that one person was saved in the womb of Uttara by Krishna. Krishna himself personally saved the baby from death. So that one baby, he became very powerful king, and he was protecting after the Mahabharata war. Of course, Panchapandavas were there for some duration, but they left. After that, only Parikshit was ruling the earth for some time, and he did a real good job of protecting the society. So such population, the population, good population has to be there, means the chastity and faithful womanhood of the chastity, that is very important. This is what actually Arjuna is speaking, that we should understand. What Krishna desires is secondary. You should understand, we don't take much lessons from this, because the reason is Arjuna is giving some reasons not to fight, and Arjuna is in confusion. So we should understand that. But if Krishna desires so, it should happen. That is dharma. So by being engaged in various, women generally will be involved in various religious activities. Some function will come, some family function will come. They'll keep on be engaged in these religious practices, so they won't get led into the adultery or bad behavior. But when the family tradition is destroyed, then the chastity and devotion, all these things will go, and unnecessary population will get developed. So this Varnashrama, the system will be a failure at that time, when then there won't be any good children. So family tradition will lead to some good children, and otherwise it will lead into unwanted population. So two people will bring unwanted population. One is the women who doesn't have a proper protection or a family value, will bring unwanted population. And irresponsible men also provoke adultery in the society. So both are there. So there will be unwanted children for the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So they will end up in war and pestilence. Okay, we'll go to the next. 1.41. Shankaro narakayaiva.
Shankaro Narakayeva.
Narakaeva.
Kulajnanam kulasya cha.
Kuladhyana
Jnanam
Kulasya.
kulasya cha.
Patanti pitaro hesham.
Patati Pitro
पितरौ हि येषाम्
Lupta pindo daga kriya. An increase in unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance of offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Read the purport.
According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu, because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in the Bhagavatam 11.5.41, Devarshi Bhutapta Nirnam Pitrinam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rini Charajan Sarvatmana Yah Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Wow. Oh, that's it. This is an excellent verse quoted here. So Arjuna again comes back with, first he said the family values will be destroyed when elders are destroyed, then women will get polluted, and then unwanted population will get generated. As I told you, the last sloka's end is the next sloka starting. So then increase in unwanted population will cause hellish life. Why? They won't perform Pitru Karma. That the forefathers every year in your families and all you would have seen, your parents would have given some, they will put a leaf and they'll offer, they'll either keep a photograph or they'll do Shraddha ceremony in which they'll go to the river bank and they'll do Shraddha ceremony for the, that is the Vishnu will be satisfied first, and in a Vishnu leaf they'll offer everything to Lord Vishnu, and that remnants are offered to the, actually if you call a Pandita properly he'll do it, and that is the way. Not in the families they say that they'll just keep the photograph of the man and they put a leaf. This is atheistic. That is not a proper way of doing Sraddha. The Sraddha ceremony for the dead ancestors has to be done by calling a Pandit, and he will come, he will make you offer, cook foodstuffs which are sattvic in nature, and then offer to Lord Vishnu. And the same leaf is, leaves Mahaprasadam is provided to the forefathers. That is very important. Lupta Pindo Daga Kriya, we are seeing the Pinda. Lupta Pindo Daga Kriya. This is the one. So what is Pindadan, they say. So food and water is offered, Mahaprasadam of Vishnu is offered to. So this is very important to follow all these things. We need to, otherwise they will remain as bodies of ghosts and they'll be suffering so much, and that curse will come upon this family also. So like this, various problems will happen. So, but when one becomes a devotee, he is not obliged to anybody. But before he becomes a devotee of Krishna, especially accepting a spiritual master, getting initiated, and then properly following everything, then it is possible that we are satisfying Lord Krishna. So we don't need to satisfy everybody else, so many others. So one who is engaged in devotional service is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from any kinds of misery. But for formality's sake, we do once in a year. For we have to do formality's sake, basically. But even though it is not required, because it involves Lord Vishnu, it involves Krishna. So we keep Krishna Prasadam, and that Krishna Prasadam we give to the forefathers. Like we give food to Prasadam to anybody who's on the door. If you are a Grahastha, anybody on the door, we will give food. Prasadam. Not just food. Same way, Prasadam distribution is part of service. So we can observe this ancestors giving once in a year, but it should be done only as a prasadam. So this is, if you don't give, then they are going to suffer in the ghostly life. So we have to release them from that. So this is a beautiful verse quoted by Srila Prabhupada. Devarishi, Bhuta, Drunam, Pitrunam. So whoever, so many people we are obliged, we are breathing the air, so we are obliged to the air. We are using fire, letting fire in order for cooking. So for Agni Deva, we have to repay. And we have to repay for the sun god because he is giving the grains are growing with the sunlight, and the moon is giving rasa to the vegetables and fruits. So we are supposed to give back to the moon. In this way, so many demigods and forefathers and other humans and everything, we need to do so many rituals. But anybody, gato mukundam parihritya kartam. So when you gati, you take shelter of Mukunda, then it is all right. So the giver of liberation, he will give even liberation from material bondage. So why we should get bound by all these people? You give me, I give you. You give me, I give you. You give me, I give you. I give directly Krishna. I develop relationship with Krishna. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajat. In today's Guru Maharaj class was, whoever you are worshipping or thinking or involving in affection or rati, you go to that place whom you are thinking and getting involved. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by the performance of devotion service to the Supreme Lord. So this is also a very important sloka, very nicely for us, but actually what he is telling you, see, there is a contradiction between what Prabhupada says and what Arjuna says. I want you to list it down this weekend. I would like you to take an exercise and do that contradiction between what Arjuna says and what Prabhupada is saying in the purport. This is the exercise we started. So we have to complete that exercise. So you can, one example here, you can see, like aggressors, we saw one example. Here one example we are seeing, like how Arjuna is telling that the obligations to the forefathers will be stopped, like that. But very simply, if somebody becomes a devotee and takes the lotus feet of Mukunda, they are out of the obligations. So that is very nice purport by Prabhupada, where he is showing us how this crying of Arjuna is a kind of bodily concept or materialistic ideas. But externally seeing, it will look very, very, if somebody is a materialistic person, but a religious person, he will appreciate it so much. Sometimes we see that somebody giving lecture on first chapter and telling that the ladies will get like this, the forefathers have to be offered oblation. The ladies are less intelligent and they require protection. The children require protection. When there is a tsunami coming, there is a man, there is a lady, there is a child. The tsunami is coming. We are all in the beach. Then the man will protect the women or what? Krishna will protect everybody. So the thing is, whom are we thinking as ourselves, this body, and whom are we thinking our provider and protector is a great question. So whether a person is in bewilderment or not, is not he is speaking some Sanskrit, he is speaking some good words, righteous words. Why should we have the fight? The family tradition will get destroyed. See, very, very nice, Pandita, very excellent speeches, which for an ordinary person's sense, it looks very good. But Prabhupada is refuting that in the purport. Okay. Next verse. 1.42. Doshair etei kulagyanam
दोषैरेतैः कुलघ्नानां
Jnanam
varna shankarakarai
Varnashankarakai
वर्णशङ्करकारकै
syadyante jati dharma
Sadyante
उत्सादयन्ते
Jati
जातिधर्मा
Dharma
kula dharmascha shashvata. Nice, no? All Jati Dharma, Kula Dharma, everything is coming. Many dharmas. Let us see what Arjuna says. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition, thus give rise to unwanted children. All kind of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. The evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition, thus give rise to unwanted children. All kind of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Okay, read the purport.
Community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of the Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently, people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos.
Okay, so he is talking about the family tradition will get destroyed by the evil deeds. It's a continuous verses, and thus give rise to unwanted children. Already the Pitru karma will be over. Now, generally, what happens, how the Pitrus are born in the family back is when they also get bound up. When the child is giving, when the grandchild or the son is giving water and food, then the Pitru becomes obliged to the child. When the child was young, the father gave food and water and facilities, and now the child is bound to the father to repay it back. And when the father becomes a Pitru, he dies and becomes a Pitru, then the son is giving water and food and is releasing him from any ghostly life. Now the father becomes bound. In this way, the father who already left the property for the child is born again as a grandchild in the same family. In this way, they maintain that again and again the grandfather becomes. That is why sometimes in the families, some of the families have a tradition of keeping the grandfather's name to the children, or grandchildren, or great grandchildren. So great grandchildren get the great grandfather's name because according to the system, they come back. Oh, he worked very hard, he earned a lot of property, and he died. And when he comes back, he will come back to enjoy that. So it's like a cycle, a system. Now, what will happen if the grandfathers are not given food and water? That bondage is cut, and the grandfathers will be roaming around like ghosts and other things. And any Tom, Dick, and Harry, the ladies will do adultery. Adultery means having sex outside the marriage. Is called adultery. So they will be loose character, and then the unwanted children will be born, and they will be from some Ashuric background or like that. It's not properly family tradition based children. And what they will do, they will become leaders or something. And what they will do, all the dharma they will destroy. They will create their own way of living, and they are not going to respect any traditional varnashrama system or something. And there is two systems, Sanatana system and varnashrama system. So in both the systems are aimed at taking one into liberation, taking one gradually to the liberation. Gradually to liberation is Varnashrama Dharma. Sanatana Dharma will quickly take one to the spirituality. So Varnashrama Dharma is also step-by-step progress towards spiritual. So the leaders, unwanted leaders will come if they are blind, and the one who follows also will go to the hell. So everybody the leader is leading directly them to the hell. That is what. So this is also warning. Arjuna is telling that this is also going to happen. 1.43 Utsanna Kula Dharmanam
Utsannakuladharmanam
Manushyanam Janardana
Manusyanam Janardana
Narake Niyatam Vaso
Narake Niyatam Vaso
Bhavatiti Anushruma.
Bhavatiti Anushrama.
Translation: O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in the hell. Read the purport.
Arjun bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving the real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashram institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prakshit. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to the hellish planet to undergo the miserable lives as the result of sinful activities.
So there is one more point he's telling. The disciplic succession is not spiritual disciplic succession. In every art and science, there is a disciplic succession. For example, if we take Silpakala, you have many nice statues which are made in the temple, architecture of the temple. Even that is coming in a disciplic succession. Even archery, that is coming in a disciplic succession. So he is telling generally about the Brahmanical disciplic succession that he has heard that the family tradition is destroyed. If somebody destroys, then whichever people, whichever family the tradition is destroyed, they'll be all be in hell and long time. They will be in hell. This is what I have heard. So he's telling that it's not just from a personal experience, I feel, but he's telling that no, I hear from authority. That is the way of, so Prabhupada is mentioning here, that is the way of receiving knowledge. So one cannot just like that find out, like I went and sat under the Bodhi tree and I just got knowledge. No, we get the knowledge from somewhere, but that somewhere is an authority, then that is the proper system. So, as far as the Varnashrama system is concerned, whenever the person is about to die, he will do Prayaschitta. Prayaschitta, they say, no, sometimes you have Ragu Desha, Ketu Dosha, you have this Dosha, Sani Dosha. Then we ask to the astrologer, what is the Prayaschitta? What is the atonement? Then he says, you have to go and feed 100 Brahmanas, 50 Brahmanas. Or he will say that go to that particular temple and do some puja to the Sani Bhagavan. In this way, they say, Sani is not Bhagavan, but he will say that. In this way, Prayaschitta means atonement. Atonement means if there is a negative impact that can be neutralized by performing some other activity. Sometimes, not all the sinful activities cannot be. But when a person is going to die, just before dying, he will do all the atonement. He will look into his horoscope, and if in his life he consciously would have done some sin, he knows I killed this person, I robbed from this family or whatever. Then he can do atonement when he's living only, before dying. And in case if he doesn't do that Prayachitta, it is also part of Varnashrama system. One will surely be see, if somebody does bad, they go to hellish planet and they will suffer for their sinful activities. But before dying, if one atones for the sinful activities, majority of the trouble he can save himself. So this Prayachitta ceremony, Prayachitta atonement, all this will not happen because people will not feel guilty for their sin if they are not coming in the proper Varnashrama family system. If they come in the family system, they will say that, okay, you do this Prayachitta and you'll be cured, like that. So without curing, if somebody dies, he directly goes to hell, and in the hell he has to suffer like anything. Okay. So Arjuna is putting that point also. Next, 1.44. Aho bata mahat papam
Aho bat mahat papam
kartum vyavasita vayam
kartum vyavasthavayam
yatrajya sukalobena
yadrajya
यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन
antum swajanam udyata.
antum
स्वजनम् उद्यत
Translation. Alas, how strange is it that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Read the prophet.
Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world, but Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities.
Okay. So he's a very saintly devotee. So he's telling why should there for driven by selfish motive, one may be inclined to such sinful acts of killing one's own brother, father, mother. There are many examples. Kamsa, you take. He arrested his father Ugrasena and put him in the jail and took over the throne. And when he heard that the eighth son of his own sister is going to kill him in future, the child, just now the sister got married. Immediately he arrested brother-in-law and sister. Directly from the marriage ceremony, they went into the jail. Not jail, he left them outside for 1 year. And when the first child was born, Vasudeva brought it very carefully to Kamsa. Then Kamsa decided, okay, he killed in front and immediately arrested them because they started having child. Maybe he will not give some eighth child. Like that, he thinks. This is one example. And even they say there is a king called Aurangzeb. He arrested his father and brothers. He was the younger one. So there was the elder brothers and father, and they are ruling. But he want to rule. So he arrested everybody and put them in the jail, and he became the king. Like this. For selfish motive, one may be inclined to such in killing one's own brother, father, mother. Many instances, Prabhupada is telling. But Arjuna is a saintly devotee and he is thinking, he is asking, why do we need to do such a sinful land? See how we thought that we will do this. Just for the royal happiness, enjoy the royal happiness. So there is a concept that the kingdom or the kingliness is to enjoy he's enjoying like a king. The king may lose the life in the war field, that you should know. The king's life is always at risk. Nobody tells that his life is like a king, very risky. They say that he is living a royal life like a king. So they see only the part of the king where he's going to enjoy, but they don't see that the king's life is always at stake. His ministers may try to kill, his sons may try to kill, they want to take over the throne, or the neighbor countries may try to conquer, and the king need to go and fight. And some citizen may like him, may not like him, whatever it is. So, but here Arjuna is quoting that we have a desire to enjoy the royal happiness. Just because we want to enjoy the royal happiness, we are preparing to commit gratefully sinful acts by killing people. Our own kinsmen, we are planning to kill, intending to kill. This is what he is thinking. So the purpose of fight generally for a kingdom is to enjoy royal happiness. That is what he is thinking. Okay. 1.45. Yadi mam apratīkāram
यदि मां
यदि माम्
प्रतिकारं
अप्रतीकारम्
ashastram shastrapanaya
शस्त्रं
शस्त्रम्
शस्त्रपाणि
शस्त्रपाणय
dārdarāṣtras dārdarāṣtra rane hanyus
धार्तराष्ट्राहरणे हन्युस्
tanme kshema taram bhavet.
तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्
Translation: better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapon in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Read the book.
It is the custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principles, that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He decided he did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord.
So now he's telling, okay, let them bring the weapon in their hand and let them kill me. I will not take the weapon. Let me not take the weapon. If they want to come and kill me, let them kill. In that way, if they want to enjoy the kingdom, take it, let them take it. So they are bent in fighting, they are bent and they are greedy. Why should I be greedy? They are interested in fighting. Why should I fight? So these are all due to, there are two things. There is a weakness also Prabhupada mentioning due to family affection. And here, this is a devotee of the Lord generally will try to avoid these kind of complexities. Generally speaking, you won't get involved into all this hatredness and envy and anger and everything just for some material possession. Just take it and leave me, and they'll just walk away. They have better things to do. So the devotee of the Lord has a soft-heartedness. So sometimes people comment them, oh, very sentimental, very sentimental. We are very intellectual, and the devotees are very sentimental. The devotee sentiment comes along with the clear knowledge of Krishna. So that is authorized. So here he is very soft-hearted and he is telling, let them have it like that. 1.46, this is the last verse in this chapter. Sanjaya Uvacha.
Sanjay Uvacha.
Evamuktvā Arjuna Sanke.
Evam uktva Arjuna Sanke.
Sanke
Rathopastha Upavisat.
Ratopastha
Vishrujya Sacharam Sapam.
Vishristya Sasaram Chapam
Soka Samvigna Manasa.
Sokasamviknamanasha.
Translation, Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Purport?
While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Good. So we have completed the first chapter. So here, the devotee of the Lord is very, very soft-hearted person. And because of these wonderful qualities, that is really not materially interested. So he is qualified, is fit to receive the knowledge from Krishna. Like Draupadi, when she had her own self-confidence to protect oneself, then Krishna will not protect him. There is one verse even in Guru Maharaj class today, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yojana Paryupasate Tesham Nitya Abhyuktanam Yogakshemam Bhagamyaham. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, not having any other chinta, that how will I solve this, how will I do this, how will I acquire this, how will I protect this, how will I provide, I'll be very smart. So devotees sometimes, oh, I'll become very smart. If you are too smart, then Krishna won't help you because you are already smart. Why should he help you? When a person is not ready to be too very smart, let them take it, yeah. What is the big deal? So that time, then Krishna will come to help. Because anyway, that guy is, devotee is materially not inclined. So then Krishna will provide. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning that he said, okay, let them take it, no problem. If I'm not going to take the weapon, if they are coming with a weapon and they are going to kill, according to Shastra, a person without a weapon should not be killed. But if they still kill, that is okay. It's up to them. I am ready to die in that way, rather than fighting for this war and killing so many soldiers and making many people die. If Arjuna takes his Gandiva, then surely there is going to be thousands and thousands and thousands are going to die. So, as a soft-hearted person, because he was a devotee of the Lord and he was involved in devotional service to the Lord, he had that soft-heartedness. So, seeing this, Krishna thought it is fit. He is fit to receive knowledge gradually. Om Tat Sat. Okay. So we have read this portion of 36 to. I'll put you assignment to be completed. So what you can do is, or you come tomorrow, we can have a Zoom call, or it's better that you work in this weekend. Don't just leap over it and come. Okay, you are supposed to work on it. This assignment is also part of your assessment. If you have not done assessment, I'm just watching who's doing, not doing. Casually also, I know. If you're not doing regularly, then surely you're not going to be, then the exams you cannot write. Just come and write a closed book exam and we cannot go. There is an open book exam and the exercises which you perform, the class attendance, the attitude, everything is important. Everything put together is what is your final certification generation. Not just like that coming and namesake doing only closed book exam and going. Then you have to redo all the essay and all. So that is very, very bad. So I'll give you the assignment in the WhatsApp. Go through it. There is nothing but what are all the various dilemma, the problem, the confusion of Arjuna. And then Arjuna's confusion and various reasons for not fighting. And what is specifically Prabhupada's comment on that? Because each of the reason will, some of the reasons have a positive comment, like it is devotee soft-heartedness. Prabhupada is mentioning like that. So every confusion of Arjuna, Prabhupada gives a comment. Like for example, sin will overcome with aggressors. He's refusing that argument. But certain things, Prabhupada is appreciating. Yes, this is devotee's quality. So in this way, I want you to work on this. Sloka number 30, I think it starts from sloka number 30 or 25, 30 onwards till the end of the chapter. List down, explain Arjuna's reasons for not fighting. And what is Srila Prabhupada saying, commenting? A single line, one line you write Prabhupada's. Single line. What is Prabhupada? Every single person has to do this. Otherwise, better you come tomorrow at 9 o'clock and do it in the class. As a group, I can divide it into group and you can do it. Because sometimes when I give you homework, you're just going and you're sleeping and you're roaming around, enjoying, chanting, going to temple, and everything you're doing, and at last eating and sleeping in the weekend and coming directly on Monday. That is not appreciated. So better to come tomorrow. I can have a Zoom session, or you have to promise me that you're completing and coming. And those who have not completed on Monday, how can we give them punishment? You tell me. The class only, they'll be put in a breakout room alone and they have to finish and come back into the class. What about this? So what are you all saying? Can we have, or on Monday we can have the group discussion in the class if you find no time. So I'll put all of you kindly answer the what is that poll which I'm going to put in the WhatsApp. How do you want it? Okay. Those who want classes on Saturday, what you do is come on tomorrow, come into the Zoom and you all discuss and take down the points. Okay. You can share the screen, use the class timing. You can share the screen and make a nice list of so you also have to discuss the relevance of Arjuna's confusion in the practice of Krishna consciousness. When we practice Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is giving certain very nice points, faith on Krishna consciousness, how to deal so that we get out of ignorance and sleep. In this way, from the first chapter, you can pick up those points which are very relevant from the purport, not from the translation, because this chapter is confusion of Arjuna. Always remember, when a person is confused, you don't take lessons from that. When Krishna is answering, from Krishna's answer, we are going to take lessons. We are not going to take lessons from Arjuna's confusion. This you should be very, very careful. So from Prabhupada. So I'll give you the question also in the WhatsApp. Accordingly, you answer. Okay. Better all of you come tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Whoever is not able to come has to work all by themselves and come back with the assignment. If you are absent for tomorrow, you have to come back with your assignments on Monday. All of you. Okay. Hari Bol. Any questions, comments? Quickly, because devotees are requesting if I finish early, they can go to Mangalarti and their day they have to chant. So I'm trying, because I'm doing Guru Maharaj Tamil translation. It takes some time to wind up all the streaming. Sometimes Guru Maharaj leaves late at 8:40, 8:50, like that. If he leaves at 8:30, 8:30 to 8:50, anytime Guru Maharaj will finish his session. So based on that, I'm joining. So 9 to 10, I'll try. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Hare Krishna. Let us offer our Vaishnava Pranam to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, who can fulfill the desire of all the conditioned souls and bless us with complete spiritual progress and Krishna consciousness. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
नमः।
नमः।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
जय।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
गुरु महाराज की जय।
जय।
साई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।